Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. So we have a new Bugatti Supercar Science coming. Now, Bugatti's been around for quite a while in this game, and there's been a few events. So I'm going to give you my quick take on this particular event. First of all, one of the biggest disappointments, and I'm going to point that out right now, is that the final prize car, while it's interesting for the newer players, I guess, is a Super Sport 300, okay? And it's used for the final lock-in. But notice how I already have two Super Sport 300s, and I've won both of them from prior Bugatti events. So literally, we're recycling this car yet again. What they should have done, in my opinion, is to make the Mistral the prize car, and the Bugatti Super Sport 300 should be winnable in some kind of showdown or some other way, or even if you had to pay for it. And that brings back to the other piece of the equation here, and that is, this is not going to be a free-to-play event, because if you don't already have all these cars, and what you really want is obviously the new Mistral, and I think the only way you're going to end up getting that most likely will be you have to buy it. So they know, all of us who play this Supercar Science either already has it all because we paid in prior events and therefore we don't want to pay this event, or you're going to pay to get through it anyway. Now notice there are a lot of Bugattis in the game, and only for the first lock-in can you use all these. Once you get beyond it, you start to have very limited cars, and these are not cars, except for the Divo, which did come in Gold Star format. These are not cars that were free before. I believe this had to be some kind of a prize or showdown. It might end up this time being like a showdown reward or something. This definitely was a paid car. I remember that. And this was a paid car, but then there was a gold version that was acquirable by gold keys. And then you have the W16 Mistral, which incidentally, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? When you get to lock-in 5, 1, 2, and 3 would have been used in 2, 3, 4. That means you must get this car in order to have it for lock-in number 5. That means, of course, if you need the car, it all comes back to how do they plan to give it to you. Notice this one is also going to be featured, but it does say rare imports because I suspect there's some ways to get this. It's a purple star car, so that doesn't make a lot of sense, but there's probably some way to get this without paying. But this guy here, nothing here, which most likely means we do have to pay to get it. If you notice all the other ones, rare imports is shown when you click on them. That just means there are other ways potentially other than paying to get it. But the Mistral unfortunately doesn't have that. So my suspicion is they want to sell you a car, and they know those of us who play this game long enough already has the 300. We don't care about it. We're going to want the Mistral. Well, here's a way to force you to buy one car. This is very consistent to prior Supercar Science. Always, always, one lock-in is a paid car, and that paid car is usually something new, and you have to buy it to get to the prize car. So this is definitely the standard, methodology of Supercar Science. It's a paid event. They expect you to pay at least one time somehow, and you have to then build this car. Now, the rewards are okay. They're nothing to write home about, but they should help you a little bit towards getting through. The real way of getting through is having these cars previously built, or you're going to be spending a lot of resources to try to build it. This is, again, very typical of Supercar Science. I anticipate nothing's going to be that easy, especially Speed Trap here and Sprint here. These two are going to be super tough hurdle races, and these two here are likely very difficult races for whichever lock-in ends up there. And even this one, the relays tend not to be too difficult, but this one could be a challenging race as well. So standard Supercar Science is up to race 55, no real challenge. Cars on stage 5, 1 stage 6, maybe at most 2 stage 6, you should be able to get to here. But once you get to the hurdle races, depending on which car it is that falls into that slot, you're going to need a lot more upgrades. So that, again, it's what it's going to be with this event. Lock-in number 1, Everybody with any Bugatti should be able to do it. Okay, pick the one that you want to build, because let's put it this way, if you have the bolide from the season pass, now's your chance to potentially get another part for it. You definitely want part for the bolide, the Cento DC. The other Bugattis in this list are not really that good anymore, so they're not that useful. But on the other hand, if you're actually trying to get through the whole event, you want to lock in your most built Bugatti, not one that's going to require a ton of parts, because you know the drop rate stuff is random, and you may not have it built enough later on to make it. And the same goes for these. Even if you can acquire these last minute, the problem is if you don't have them built, no supercar science is going to let you get through this thing on stage 5 only. So you're going to need parts. Ultimately, for me, the only car that matters is the W16 Mistral. It looks like I yet once again have to reach in my pocket and get this car. Hopefully it's not too expensive. $20 is expected. And then that'll be that. I mean, I'll end up stripping the next Super Sport 300, because these Purple Star cars, once you win them, you can't strip them. There was at one time a really good use for this Super Sport 300 in live. It is now considered an outdated car that no longer fits the matchmaking criteria, so that makes it very competitive. So having 3 of them is complete waste of my garage space. But I can strip one and maybe get some extra parts. Who knows? But that is what's going to happen on my end. So that is my take on this event. Very straightforward summary. 1, you have to buy at least one car. 2, expect challenges to be truly reached in the end at 60 something race. These guys in the back here will be the hurdle races. The prize car is really an old car that's been around quite a few times. And finally, this event will be a major resource drain for most players who have not been through prior Bugatti events. And for those of us who have been paying before and playing before, this will be a pretty easy event, except I get to buy and build this car. Anyway, that is my quick take. Any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. If you like the video, leave a like. If you like my channel and you like videos like this, subscribe, hit the bell, and get notifications when I put up new videos. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.